Yo, welcome back to the Participation Trophy Podcast. This is episode 14. It is your boy Abdullah back on the mic. Joe Glow, once again, not with us tonight, but the rest of the squad still fresh in the flesh. Jamal Smith.
Bang, bang.
Zain Zadie. Neil Dalal.
Yo.
Gentlemen, our Christmas marathon continues.
Oh.
Last week, we talked about our favorite toys. This week, we decided to incorporate our listeners, polling them on Instagram for their favorite Christmas movies. Zain, you being our resident Gene Shalit and whatnot.
I have no idea who the fuck Gene Shalit is.
Tell us about the polling results. Which Christmas movies are hot amongst the masses nowadays?
All right, so it took me like 20 minutes to figure out how to really post a poll on Instagram, which is more time than I actually spent researching Christmas movies. So this is all sorts of fucked up.
Did you send the ticket? Did you send the ticket into Instagram?
Into the queue? Yeah. I sent a ticket to Tech Center.
You went to the polling FAQs, man. Damn.
I did. I had to Google that shit, all sorts of shit. So I just literally just threw a bunch of shit up there to see what stick, man. So, so the criteria, I mean, so the Christmas movie thing I was thinking about is like, what qualifies as a Christmas movie, right? I mean, some movies are actually about Christmas, right? But like something like Home Alone is just some shitty white kid who's these problems.
Hey, man.
I won't tolerate this
He's
slander.
a fucking brat, man.
Already?
He's a
Wow.
brat. He's a brat. Look,
Listen,
the movie was really they would have.
Home Alone in our culture, it's like embedded in our culture now. Like part of the asking for a girl's hand, like in marriage, is like how much of Home Alone.
How hard do you fuck with Home Alone?
Yeah, like how much of it.
But
Don't slander Home Alone.
No. Well, more than that, it's like if you explain the concept to a brown parents, like, oh yeah, like there was this kid and they left him home alone and they went to they left the country. Like what? And they think it's some sort of like crazy suspense thriller drama, right? But it's a comedy. But I mean, I think they should have shot that kid in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Should end right
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically,
Joe Pesci had a bad year that year, 1990. I mean, he got his head.
Yeah, he lost his tooth.
Flamed by a torch, by a blowtorch. And that same year, he gets shot in the head for
the Billy Bats thing.
Billy Bats,
yeah, the Billy Bats thing. It was some real greaseball shit, you know.
30 years ago.
Yeah,
it's fascinating that Joe Pesci would play those two roles in the same year. Like,
have you seen The Super? I mean, he's done some range, some diversity. But long story short, you guys get the clue. Christmas movies directly about Christmas. So I don't really know where the hell to start. The first thing I don't know why I threw Edward Scissorhands and The Preacher's Wife. I wanted to try to draw some racial lines here, see where we were going. That was my goal. 77% for Edward Scissorhands. So.
It's a random shit in the poll. I was waiting for people to reach back out to me. Like, what the fuck do you have me voting on? Like, it's random shit.
People went with it. People love
the same movie like 3 times. You put Home Alone up against like 3 different random movies. What the fuck was that about?
See, in my mind, I knew Home Alone would go far, so I had to keep testing the motherfucker. I gotta test Home Alone, see what it's made of. So then I went in.
You had to give Home Alone a play-in game. You had to...
Exactly, because like there's no way I could.
Home Alone got the first round bye every year.
You should.
That's what I'm saying.
First, second, and third.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know why I did Bringing Down the House and Set It Off. I had Queen Latifah on the mind. Bringing Down the House didn't win 60% though.
What the?
Against Set It Off. That was another test.
You were trolling. Like that's a troll.
Yeah, they were big troll
definitely.
questions.
What the
Okay,
fuck?
the first two were
Set It Off.
But
I love
Abdullah,
Set It Off got the
why
hardest
were you
soundtrack.
expecting anything different?
Set It Off got the hardest soundtrack, and you put that in the Christmas movie poll.
Yeah, I mean they're 2 Queen Latifah movies. They're very different. I love Steve Martin. I want to see where our fans stood. You know,
Yeah.
60% for Bringing Down the House. So then I went with Elf versus The Grinch. Elf crushed The Grinch, 71%.
Good.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. I'm not saying I disagree or agree, but Elf is one of those movies that's like universally people love it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Great
stupid,
staying
goofy.
power. Great staying power.
Exactly. And Will Ferrell just does his thing in there. So 71% for Elf.
All right.
That's some landslide, Biden over Trump type shit.
Mm.
So next I went Gremlins versus Die Hard. Sorry, you had a question, sir?
No. Go ahead.
Please raise your hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no.
Please use the raise hand feature.
I wanted to bring up the dude who was yelling about Scrooged.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna address all.
Okay.
Of, all
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that now. Yeah. Okay.
I've seen it, but it's been a while. And I totally forgot about it, and we'll make our amends for that.
All right, keep going. Keep going.
So Die Hard is another Christmas movie
Yes,
that's
sir.
like indirectly a Christmas movie.
So maybe we should pop in right here and talk about what makes a Christmas movie. Like what elements are needed, because clearly Christmas as a central theme of the movie is not quite necessary. You know what I mean?
Does Die Hard? So Die Hard takes place at a Christmas party, right? Is that what it is?
The first one does, correct.
The first one does.
Yeah.
So either Christmas passes in the movie, or it's snowing outside, or there's like a center theme about Christmas, right?
Or there's like a bingo of Christmas items in the movie.
Right.
Like Gremlins had a Christmas tree, toys, you know, snow outside, like that type of
as long as the setting is in that time frame, it's considered exactly.
Okay, so
but
we don't need
also
a Christmas.
Another unknown factor. It's like and Jamal, I think, which again that is the feeling of Christmas when those movies come on too, right?
Right, exactly.
It's very subconsciously based on what you've already seen,
exactly.
And throughout time, it's a learned thing. Like, oh, it's December, Gremlins are probably gonna come on, or this movie's gonna come on.
Right, got it. Okay, cool.
So 67% Die Hard kicked that ass.
As it should.
People don't mess with Gremlins apparently.
That's some bullshit, but okay.
Bullshit. All right.
That's the 35 plus age range though. If you're gonna vote for Die Hard, you've probably seen it at an age, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I think maybe I should.
I'm a big Die Hard fan.
Up against some sort of action movie.
Are you?
I couldn't think of.
Is it off the video games or off the movies?
Off the movie. I've never even played the video game.
Oh, really? Okay, no, because
who stars in Die Hard, Neil?
Say that again?
Who stars in Die Hard?
John McClane.
Okay, I thought you would say like Zach Galifianakis or something.
he named the character name too.
He's like Ryan Reynolds.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay.
All right, so then I had to go to the cartoons. I had to mix a little bit of cartoon action. So I put Nightmare Before Christmas against Charlie Brown's Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas doubled up on Charlie Brown's Christmas. Man.
Really?
67 to 33. Yep.
Yeah. I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
You
know what I love about Nightmare Before Christmas is it's a movie that kind of just the range from Halloween to Christmas, it's relevant. You know what I mean? Like they incorporate it's a Christmas movie about a Halloween town.
Yeah.
That you're right. So you can watch you can kind of blend it across all holidays. You know what I mean?
But doesn't Christmas feel incomplete if we don't see Charlie Brown Christmas? So that's kind of angle I'm coming at it with.
Staple.
Like,
it's a staple, you know.
Yeah. You'll catch Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Until I hear, you know, Charlie Brown music and, you know, that ushers in the holiday spirit, in my opinion.
They
don't put it on
tough,
TV like they used to. Yeah.
You know, I think Charlie Brown Christmas just ran to a buzzsaw. This is like it's like running into the Mavericks in 2012. Like this is
all right. That's fair.
They just hitting crazy shots. But I should have probably brought it back against something else. Bad Santa versus A Christmas Story. This was closer than I thought. This was 54% for A Christmas Story, which I think is not the best Christmas movie, but it's like for me the quintessential Christmas movie. And Bad Santa got 46%, so that was like almost a dead tie.
That's it's like Florida voting results, right? Just unnecessarily close.
I agree. Christmas Story to me is like the whole freaking movie is about a kid who wants this toy.
That's my shit. Shit. Undeniably.
Yeah. It has so many like scenes that are just etched in my memory. Neil, do you need any background info on?
I haven't heard about half these damn movies you talking about.
So you don't know what a Fisher Red Ryder BB gun is?
I've heard of Fisher Price.
Or Triple Dog Deer. Man. You don't know what Triple Dog Deer is?
Nope.
Jesus Christ.
Tell you what, tomorrow morning when it's 20 degrees.
Go stick your tongue on a pole.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too much in the Christmas Story, but like that is like when it's snowing
I do
outside
know
and
that
Christmas
scene.
Story comes on. Oh man.
That's it, bro. That's all you need.
Such a nostalgic feeling, dude. All right.
So I think Bad Santa though, when you match those two types of movies up, like Bad Santa to me is like one of those goofy off the wall kind of fucking Christmas stories, right? Like just Billy Bob Thornton himself and like
it's out of the
fucking
box.
elf in that movie, like right. So for me, I kind of feel like those type of movies, just because I'm a fucking goofy motherfucker in general, like that shit kind of resonates with me more. So and
can confirm.
So,
we'll deny that.
So shit like that. So like it's like movies that kind of like where right in the middle of the fucking story, it's supposed to be like a chick flick or some type of romantic comedy, right? But like right in the middle, like something drastic happens that just almost destroys, like a house burns down or some shit. One of these movies, right? Like it's right in the middle of like on Christmas Eve and shit, and then like everyone kind of gets back together and the movie ends, you know, well, favorably, whatever. So those kind of movies, like Just Friends, comes to mind, like that one, Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart
Neil's
movie.
like, yeah.
Everyone's like blanking out.
No, I know what you're talking about. I saw it in the list. I didn't add it
Yeah.
because I don't want to go the romantic comedy route, man. Our fans don't like that
Okay.
shit, right?
I only know the remakes of those original movies, like Friends with Benefits. Same difference.
Yeah, that's like this. Yeah, they're all the same. The Friends
Right.
with Benefits. They made like 8 of those fucking movies where
Exactly.
2 people are having
So
sex and they're friends.
formulaic, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, why did this shit happen in my life, man? But that's another podcast. So yeah, I guess you're trying to say that
Mm-hmm.
kind of movie, Bad Santa, might have just, I don't know. But going up against Christmas Story, it's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. So this is where it gets wild. All right.
Wild.
Home Alone,
Yes, sir.
91% against a Christmas Story. 91%.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But
Christmas
I've also
Story,
never seen a Christmas
9%.
Story.
Yeah.
That's
Like
You
I
know
said,
what?
I just feel like Home Alone just kind of just runs through every fucking household.
For
hands
me,
down.
that's the quintessential.
See, there
Christmas-
you go. Like, see, like
Yeah.
I think it kind of it moves with generations. So
Yeah, you know what I think it is?
Even-
Is the polling is it's not like, oh, this is 90% better. It's just everybody picked Home Alone when it came
Yeah.
up.
how many people voted for each poll?
Look,
like,
it would take
on
us,
average?
it would take us days to count all these votes. sir.
Yeah, sample size 7 people.
Our fan base. Sorry.
You know,
Um,
I think this is the first year I heard people actually saying they didn't really fuck with Christmas Story too heavy, which I
Yeah,
took like
realized
personal
that.
offense to. And you talking about movies that had staying power. Like I thought A Christmas Story was the ultimate. I mean, not to take anything away from Home Alone, but Christmas
Home
Story
Alone is-
just feels like the staple from year to year.
You know what it is that Home Alone, there's no experience. There's certain experiences you can relate to, but I think Christmas Story, like the whole fucking movie is just like,
Yeah,
oh my God, I remember that. Right.
yeah.
But maybe people are just, don't want to go back to their childhood, had traumatic memories. I don't know.
I could see it also, Home Alone really ringing with our generation because I know personally I'm the same age as Macaulay Culkin. Like
Mhm.
we
Jeez.
kind of, I mean, I would totally freeze up and not be able to do anything if I stayed home by myself. But
Yeah. And Neil's the same age as Macaulay Culkin was.
right.
In the original movie 30 years
Sorry, go
ago.
ahead. Yeah, like
no, yeah, we kind of
go
feel that kind of relational aspect to it.
yeah. And
it was
then, I mean,
novel. It was different. Yeah, it was
and that whole
great.
feeling if you had a big family and you just hated it and you felt like you weren't getting enough attention. How does
Also,
that make you
the-
feel?
I don't know about y'all, but do you ever see the annual tradition of what the fuck did Kevin's parents do for a living to afford that gigantic house and take that
Yes.
expensive, take
Yes.
everybody on vacation?
Yes.
I love when that comes up every year and the speculation
To
comes
be
up.
paying for the uncle and aunt's plane tickets as well.
Bro.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. What were they doing?
whose resume? You're like, what I need to get my resume to?
Yeah. I think he was
Okay,
a
so-
certified cloud practitioner back in 1992.
Adjusted for inflation.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say,
Okay,
Abdullah?
so before we move on, is there anything else from the polling?
Oh yeah,
that
we're still
is
going.
worthy
on.
sharing? Oh, we're still going.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll try to.
Zane's
go
gonna
through it a
milk this
little
out for another
faster.
half hour.
I think we're having a good time.
No,
no.
discussion.
All right, next up. Now, Home Alone is just running through these motherfuckers, bro.
That's what
Now,
I'm talking
next it
about.
goes up against Trading Places. This is Trading Places' first appearance in the polls. 78% Home Alone to 22% Trading Places.
So Neil, you just watched Trading Places today.
Right, because I
Did
was
you
going
actually
to be
finish it?
roasted.
Did you watch the entire 2
vehemently.
hours today?
Yeah, so I literally just went on our good
So
old
this is
friend
good.
Pirate
Neil,
Bay.
tell us what you thought about it. Consider you just watched it for the first time. There's
Yeah.
no nostalgia factor for you,
Yeah.
etc.
So I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan, mostly from kind of Dr. Dolittle and those kind of time era things.
But
But,
from the doctor.
Yeah, I've seen Eddie Murphy's best works: Norbit, Goldfinger, Bowfinger.
Hey, Norbit was funny. But so
Cow Heist.
it was a good movie, but I would still pick Home Alone over it every single time. Like it was definitely in it. It was a movie
Is
that
it-
hit on important topics and things in the world too.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
was
But
always
but a
good.
movie that old, is it hard
1983.
for you to? Is it hard for it to resonate with you? Just
it's just not fast paced. It's kind of just like slow, like it's just a movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the instant gratification thing, I think.
Like the fact that they show like typewriters on some of these fucking desks, like in the police
Yeah.
station or some shit. Does that doesn't boggle your mind? Like we got
The
fucking
fact
dual
that they're
screen,
like doing this
42-inch dual
trading,
screen monitors and shit, hypervisors and
Yeah.
shit. Like what the?
He's like, why don't they just use Robinhood to trade stock?
the Duke's calling their orders in. Like, what kind of telephone is Eddie Murphy amazed by the dual phones in the car that they have? I'm like, bro, get a cell phone.
This is the content I'm here for.
Amazing.
Good movie
Oh,
though. I
man.
will say that.
All right, so
Yeah.
we got to get to the 500-pound elephant in the room. Jamal.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
So it was revealed to us shortly before the podcast. It was revealed to us so short before the podcast we couldn't cancel it to have some sort of intervention.
Yeah.
You have not seen Trading Places. Is there a reason why? Is it something you just missed out on and haven't like just like I don't want to go? I'm not going to go back right now and watch it. Maybe on a
So
rainy
here's
day.
the thing. I don't know why I didn't see it. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, nobody put the bug in my ear to check it out, or nobody's watching it in the
Right.
house at the time. So I feel like with some movies, and I very rarely reach back multiple decades to watch something. So if I miss something in
It's
that
gone.
kind of 10-year window, it's going to be borderline unwatchable for me.
Right.
I mean, I would only, I thought about it. We were talking about it earlier in the chat. I was like, well, maybe I should just, just like trying to fuck with it. And
Is this the
catch up
first
to it.
time you've caught flack for it?
For Trading Places? No. For a lot of other shit, I get a lot of shit for
Okay.
other movies. Yeah. Motherfuckers ready to kick me out of parties for some shit I haven't seen before. But no, I never watched it, man. And I know my boy, my best friend Steve's probably watching. He's a huge Eddie Murphy fan. He'd probably give me a lot of shit about this too. Because he's always pushed me like, you need to watch, and he'll throw out like, random movie from like 1987. Like I'm not really fucking with that now,
Go watch
Yeah.
Citizen Kane, man.
Yeah.
I'm not watching. I'm not doing that, dude. Because I'm going to struggle through it. I'm probably gonna be on my phone most of the time. My attention span is gonna be gone. So in very limited circumstances do I go back and watch old movies. Here I just, I don't have any drive to do it. Not taking anything away from Eddie Murphy, his body of work, none of that shit. It's hard for me to go back and watch old shit. It really is. Like I just went back and watched The Color Purple a couple years ago. And that's Harold is like a classic like black movie. Yeah. Spielberg killed it. It was great. It was great. That was one movie I went back to and I was like, this is really, it held up really well. I was able to, I was locked in from start to finish. It was a long ass movie, but I was really into it. But in general, I'm not going back to watch old shit. I'm not.
That's typically people's nature when it comes to old shit that they haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like if there's certain things that if you haven't grown up with it, for somebody who has, they can't tell you enough and make you understand how. Like you'll never understand. You'll just be like, no, I didn't see it then.
Yeah.
I can't go back and watch it now.
If I need to watch one part of a 3 or 4 part series to fill in the body of, the pieces, I would do that. But sitting down with a movie from 80, what was Trading Places, like 82, 84?
83. Yeah.
Damn. That shit is old.
Yeah.
That's not happening, man.
1983, correct.
Damn.
Color all fucked up. I'm not doing it.
Admittedly, I used to watch
not
Trading
bad
Places on
graphics, I would
TV.
say.
Yeah.
I used to watch Trading Places on TV, but I would never actually watch the whole thing. So I didn't watch it until honestly, maybe 7, 8 years ago. So I rewatched it.
So what kind of moved you to watch it, if you remember?
I am the kind of person, like literally, I did this 10 years ago. I did this about 5 years ago. I literally spent maybe a whole night going back through time, maybe as deep as far back as the 60s, and researched movies, that have been recommended or memorable movies, and just made a list. I made a list of like 50, 60, 70 movies. Like going back to like Hitchcock, to Sidney Lumet, to the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Now, you know what? If I could pop in for a second. I did kind of do that with Criterion Collection movies. Okay. But there was a time I went back through the Criterion Collection and watched some of those. And those were, some of those extremely old.
Which those I found very difficult. The movies I found that the way you're saying it are movies from the 60s. Like when I watched Vertigo and I watched Rear Window and I watched all these Hitchcock movies, that was fucking hard. that was super hard. You're talking about movies where nothing happens for the last 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It's just nonstop, right?
Yeah. So like when
but
I
just
watched Psycho in high school for like a film class, and I was like, you gotta be
black and
shitting
white,
me.
right?
Yeah,
I watched that as a kid, but I still love that movie. But yeah, it's different for everybody. It's really hard. I think,
yeah. Some certain time. Yeah.
Do you choose to watch these movies? You watch these movies on your own? Like
me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, of course.
Even these movies that you say you can't stomach for the entire movie, but until the last 10 minutes. The movies you were just talking about.
Yeah, because you know what it
where
is. Here's the thing, man. Like, and we've all kind of touched around it. We need that instant gratification. We are programmed, right, to need some sort of satisfaction in the first 5-10 minutes. And it happens in music too, right? If you go back and listen to rock songs from the 70s or anything, you know what I mean? Like you listen to like a Led Zeppelin song from the 70s, right? And the shit don't even pop off till 6 minutes in, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, even with a show or a song, like you recommend a show to someone, if they're not locked in from the first 10-15 minutes, they're like, fuck this shit, I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a high investment cost to start a new show these days.
It is, but for me, I wanted to try to like train myself to have that bit. It's like when I watched Vertigo, I had to literally, I was like, okay, dude, I keep grabbing my phone, let me put this shit away and let me watch it. You know what I mean? And if it gets enough your interest, by the time you build up that investment in the movie, when it hits at the end, it's a different kind of satisfaction. It's not the same satisfaction you have on the top.
Okay.
Different satisfaction. And I also just wanted to know what was so great about a lot of these movies, right?
Yeah.
And I found like 50, 60 movies nobody had ever heard of, but they were so fucking good, but they just never got no play, honestly.
Right. So I totally get those type of shows you're talking about. And I'll be honest, the one show that I really watched that has that very slow processing, plot line, is Breaking Bad. Where you watch, but I know it's a mainstream type of show, but I can't stomach these shows the way you can. I just can't. I like hearing about them. I like knowing the story, but to constantly sit there and watch it and plow through it, I would love to. But Breaking Bad was that one show where you told me from the very beginning. I remember when you suggested it, just take your time with it. It's gonna be fucking slow as shit. Just watch the character develop, and it's fascinating. It's absolutely remarkable.
But you know what it is? It's one of those things where you don't appreciate it till you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, it's like that. Yeah. It's like I'll be like 3 episodes and I'm like, I don't want to watch this show, and it's fine. But it's like I know in most of those cases, if I actually finished and watched it, I would have been glad I did. You know what I'm saying? It's just really about getting through that phase. It's tough because I do the same thing. I've watched like 6-7 shows and movies in the last week. Before that, I didn't watch anything for like 7-8 months because I just couldn't do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Neil, you're a binger.
Yeah, because
you'll binge something on impulse. Like, oh shit, I haven't seen that. Let me, these motherfuckers just go straight to the torrent files. Go straight to the torrent sites and just
straight to LimeWire.
Yeah,
and then hand it off to your Dropbox if you ask for it. Thank you for that. I appreciate.
Yeah, you still aren't gonna watch
like crack. For me, it's like crack. Like someone will tell me to watch a movie and like, oh, you haven't seen it. It's blah blah blah, and then I'll watch it. I'll love it, and I'll just go down a rabbit hole. Who's the director? Okay, what other movies has this actor been in?
Yeah,
what is, you know what I mean? And then you just follow down this line.
You see why I call him the resident Gene Shalit now? Jamal?
Yeah, no, it's
this motherfucker.
It's hella impressive.
No, here's the thing. Back in the day when everybody's out going like doing all sorts of shit and they had fucking girlfriends and they're banging their girlfriends.
He was in the hotel room with the playbook.
I was literally at home just fucking just watching shit, dude.
Zane was quarantining before we had to quarantine.
I was quarantined before quarantine.
Yeah,
he the lead bobsledder from Cool Runnings.
All right.
Everyone out there partying in the Canadian bar. This motherfucker back at the motel reading the playbook, watching pictures.
That's what it was. Yeah. Watching old Alex Smith film. Hey Joe.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, so Home Alone 78%.
Yeah.
All right. Trading Places. So, let's see. Maybe we'll ask a question tomorrow. And see.
I think the demographic is different. I don't think the demographic is what you think it is to vote for Trading Places. That's just being honest.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not really a landmark movie. It's just one of those classics. If you've seen it, and you love it.
All right. Well, let me. Oh, you still going?
No, I'm done with the polls. I'm done with the polls. I'm done with the polls.
Get to the shout outs.
So we got my man ETFP. He mentioned Scrooge. That's the first Scrooge mention we had. I love
Eric,
Bill Murray.
All right.
I've seen Scrooge. It was, irresponsible
Scrooge came
on my
out
part.
one year. What year?
Some year, I have no idea. Let's
80s?
Stat Boy. Yo, Tony Reale, Stat Boy. Neil, come on. Pull it up.
Oh, the point I'm trying to make
1988.
is So
88.
88. So it's got to be a movie that like for the rest of us resonated with him growing up. Just kind of was part of a staple of his childhood. It's different for everybody.
Said Scrooge. Now, Tits for Tats. I love this name.
You had me at tits.
Yeah, Tits for Tats. Shout out to Tits for Tats. My favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Please let me know if you do a favorite Christmas song list. Great plug, segue. Next week, we will be covering Christmas songs. We will be dropping one of these manufactured makeshift polls again.
There's only one correct answer, and it's Mariah Carey.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
We're going to fight this shit out next week.
We're going to fight this shit out.
There is really only one
vote.
correct answer, at least in a black household it is. But please, continue on.
Okay. All right, cool. We're almost done, by the way. So Phil says these people have no clue. Trading Places is in the GOAT category for comedies. Phil, you just won the grand prize.
Are we sure that's not Zane's burner account?
Two tickets to Cancun.
Zane's burner account.
No, all these people follow Jesus, Jamal, and one other, which I'm assuming is not me.
It's probably Malls.
These are my friends. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
This is great. This is great. All right. Iman Taylor says Scrooge with Bill Murray is my resume, but she's correcting the favorite. But it might be her resume also. I'm not sure what that means. But Iman Taylor says Scrooge is her favorite. So we got another 2 votes for Scrooge here, and it wasn't even on the poll, so that holds a lot of weight.
Oh, that's not...
SBA.jpg. Satan Finger. Damn, no love for Trading Places.
That was his screen name? That was his username?
Satan Finger, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jamal's like, yeah, that's my boy.
Okay.
I agree. No love for Trading Places. I respect that. Akbar Rizvi, which is my cousin, he says Home Alone. You're banished from the family. I'm just kidding.
See, told you it's that brown shit.
Me and him grew up on that shit. Though. I'm not. No, me, him, and my cousins grew up on.
You ain't marrying your cousin.
That is the
opposite. No, we grew up on that movie, man. We still watch the movie all the time. So thank you. My sister says, "Ooh, tough one." Okay, come on, dude. You didn't even vote. She didn't even vote. Grandmas or Die Hard. She said, "Oh, maybe she grew." She said, "Ooh, tough one." Okay. Thank you very much.
Good answer.
Then, great answer. All right, so that's all the interaction we got, but we want to thank everybody for interacting with us. We didn't respond to your messages because we're really bad at this, but we'll be better at it.
Yeah, definitely shout out. Thank you for facilitating that, Zane's 80.
Oh, you're welcome.
Definitely looking forward to
Christmas songs. Yeah,
Christmas songs. That's gonna be the next poll.
That's the next jump.
Yeah. So we'll try to get to that next week. Let's round this out. Top 3 Christmas movies, point blank. Just name them. No discussion. I'll start.
I'll go ahead.
I'll start.
Ooh.
Home Alone 1 and 2, 1A, 1B, in any order, just for me. The Nightmare Before Christmas and Elf.
I'll go Home Alone.
Go ahead. Why not?
I'll go Home Alone 1, Die Hard, and then Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Wow. All right.
I'm going Elf number 3, Home Alone number 2, Christmas Story, a resounding number 1.
All right.
I'll have to watch that.
Shout out to my son for dissing Home Alone 2 because Trump was in it.
Oh,
gotta bring him up right.
Respect.
There's always a tweet. There's always a
Trump
tweet.
was in that, and he was in Fresh Prince.
Zane's 80.
I'm gonna go number 1. I'm going Christmas Story. I think it's got to be there.
Thank you.
Number 2 and number 3 are interchangeable. I'm gonna go Home Alone and Trading Places. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it at that.
All right.
They're interchangeable because they could trade places.
Trading Places is a
Home
better
Alone,
movie.
Home Alone almost a consensus.
Top 3
consensus pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is gonna be a shitty ass seg, but if you're not gonna be watching football on Christmas, the Vikings and the Saints, you can watch Trading Places, Jamal.
Thanks.
I was going to do that one. Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for doing that. I'll write it down.
Yo, the Washington football team. What is it? 2 straight wins now? 3 straight?
First
And
place.
with that, let's
First
go into
place.
the gym.
The
We
sole
beat the
owner.
Steelers, 49ers, Bengals, and the Cowboys 4 straight, right?
No,
4
no,
straight.
no. 3 straight.
Okay.
Is it? I don't even know.
Do we beat the Cowboys before the Giants or after
So,
the Giants?
either
After.
way,
After.
either
So it's 4
way,
straight.
either way, we've got a team that's finally a game within 500, and in
NFC
sole
East.
and it's sole first place, sole first place, solo first place in the NFC East.
Sole first place.
Sole
Sounds like a
first
shitty
place.
pho place.
Yeah,
And
Like a shitty
my
Chinese restaurant.
Chase
Sole
Young
first place.
jersey.
Number
Chase Young.
77.
Chase
They
Young
put a
balled
number
out.
in.
My Chase
Chase
Young
Young was
jersey
ready.
has
Chase
been
Young was ready to
appreciating in
fight
value.
multiple times this game.
So
Chase
we
Young
need-
was ready to fight, and I've been saying it, Zain. We've been talking off about this, that, and the other, about waiting. Let's see. Chase Young wants to win now. This motherfucker's a dog.
Mhm.
This motherfucker's on the sidelines trying to fight.
Look,
When he's
as
off the field, on the field, that energy, that's why this defense is balling, man.
yeah, as a fan of
It's
another team in
intoxicating.
NFC East,
Yeah.
that motherfucker's got a stud. That dude
Yep.
is fucking truth, man.
If
Hey, I'm not
anything-
denying
if
it. I'm
anything,
not
he was
denying it.
undersold.
that energy pays so much dividends that what I'm saying is like our commentary, like we have feelings obviously about the game, we have emotions about the game, we have thoughts about how a team which direction they should go, this, that, and the other. But like the players themselves, Chase Young, the way he's fired up every week,
Yeah.
like that energy, it pays dividends. Like, you know, that's it's intangible. Like you don't see that shit, and you just see it on the field. And they I mean, I knew they were gonna make applesauce out of Nick Mullins, anyways.
Yeah, and the backup
Okay.
Cincinnati quarterback and
Yeah.
back of the house, give
Yeah.
But
Steelers
like I
win
said,
well, yeah.
those are the games they need
gotta
to
win
play.
those.
they need to
Yeah.
win.
Right.
Agreed.
They need to
Agreed.
dominate. Let's not just win, but you know, if we want
Yeah.
to think of the team as being elite on either side of the ball, they have to dominate on either side of the ball against those teams.
They'll only be
And they have
elite
that.
on one side of the ball. Let's get
Yeah.
that very clear.
I,
for
I,
us.
I, you know what? I'm still not sold on the elite tag. Actually, you know what? Elite, yes. Dominant, not yet for me. Me personally.
Okay, fair enough.
all I
I know
gotta say is that this Chase Young jersey has been appreciating in value since I got it last week. The dude is a stud in every
He's a
sense of the
monster,
world.
man.
He
Yeah,
comes up with a forced fumble when they needed it. He had a sack before that. He comes up. This is the Washington football team that has been miserable in recovering fumbles this entire season,
Yeah.
been made
Mhm.
clowns of on NFL. This man
Yep.
comes in, picks that shit up real quick, takes it away from John Bostic, and just runs 50 yards like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
Like he is that dude, and he's just gonna take this team as far as he can literally take them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening now? Haskins came in. Alex
Yeah, so,
Smith went down.
Right. What happened on the other side of the ball? Because I saw Alex went out.
So
but I don't know
Alex
how
Smith-
serious it was.
Calf
Was-
strain, right?
Yeah,
Calf
considered a
strain. So that
calf
might
strain.
be
They're
something that lingers.
optimistic
Right.
that he may
Is
be
there
able to
is there
play.
any what's going on now? Is there any update on that? Is there any?
They're
question
optimistic
about
that he'll
his-
be able to play against Seattle,
Okay.
but they'll see. Obviously, right now we're recording. It's Tuesday. They still haven't even had their first practice yet.
Exactly.
So-
They put out Thursday, Friday practice. If he
Right.
attends, he's a full run. MRIs were
Yeah.
negative. So
Okay.
that's really but Jamal, I know you have another question.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
another lead in.
quarterback wise, I think I heard a rumor that has the team shifted. Well, first of all, I don't know for certain that they didn't like close the door on Haskins, but clearly he wasn't right for this particular moment. Is he in the team's plans going forward? Assuming, let's say you guys hold the lead in the division, you make the playoffs, that whole quarterback at the top of the draft thing is really reserved for like the shittiest of the shitty teams.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like that's going to be within range for Washington, at
Nope.
least not like a blue chip quarterback. Is Haskins going to be back in the picture? Like, what's happening with that whole plan?
I do not think they've even, unfortunately, with what Haskins has accomplished and more so hasn't accomplished this year.
Yeah.
For them, I think they just want him to sit on the sideline. They want him to soak up as much as he can, and they're hoping he shows drastic, major improvement. I think they saw a little bit of improvement in the game, but nothing really to be like, oh my God, right? There wasn't anything in that game for them to be like, okay, let's go to him, right? I think they're riding this Alex thing out, as Joe pointed out and other people have pointed out. That's who they believe in right now, right? That's who they're going with. They're not going to have a chance at Trevor Lawrence. But what they will have a chance at, if they want, is they'll have a chance at some of these quarterbacks that aren't considered, great prospects, but guys like Trask from Florida or Wilson from BYU. These are guys that have shown a lot on film.
Probably those miss guys out on the Justin Fields of the world.
Yeah, they'll miss out on the Trey and the Justin Fields and stuff like that. But there's a couple other quarterbacks that they could look at. But
is there any market for a quarterback in the free agency?
Not really. I don't think there's really anybody.
Because here's my thing. Does the Washington football team really want to spend time on drafting a prospect and developing them? At some point, when do you go another route and look for something that might be already in development, not fully developed, but a quarterback that's got some experience that they can bring in that could fit a scheme? You know what I mean?
My boy said he wouldn't mind like Sam Darnold in Washington.
Oh, I would love Sam Darnold.
Right. It's just somebody that's workable with a coach that has experience. And who's not workable with Ron Rivera, right?
Right. That's
so
what I'm saying.
If you bring in a quarterback like that, that's got some sort of history, like Sam Darnold being an first overall pick at some point, right?
Just to interrupt you real quick, just to give you an idea of the unrestricted free agents: Dak Prescott, horrific injury, don't know what's going to happen. Phillip Rivers, old as shit. Fuck.
No.
Jacoby Brissett,
Cam.
Trubisky, hell no.
Yeah,
I don't think nobody wants Trubisky. Fitzpatrick,
meh.
Also,
maybe. See, but these quarterbacks
still getting like long in the tooth, yeah.
But no. You're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm talking about somebody that instead of bringing in a rookie, you bring in a quarterback that you can still develop into your long-term solution at the position. Not a guy that's just going to get you squeeze out a year and a half.
But besides,
there's nobody on this list.
So what you're hoping for is a miraculous turnaround, kind of like what happened with Jared Goff, where he was essentially written off and he started to kind of get it together.
I mean, there's Jameis Winston and there's Andy Dalton on here. Look like the youngest guys.
Right. Okay. So there's not really any option. That was my question.
It would have to be through trade if they do anything like that.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of trade everything for Deshaun Watson articles lately, but
I think with the team already being so young, you got Gibson, you got McLaurin, you've got a rotating offensive line.
Yeah.
Right. You want to. At some point, you want to desire having a quarterback that already knows his shit to a certain extent, where he doesn't have to just.
But here's the thing: those guys are, like you said, they're rarely on the market unless they're in that Sam Darnold, I had a few good games, type scenario, right? Yeah. Franchise quarterbacks, unfortunately, they don't grow on trees, so it's like a very small, amount of them.
All right, yeah.
Darnold is the prime one, I would say.
Yeah, Darnold.
Yeah, or you just draft one and develop them, but it's a whole.
All right. Either way, whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say at this point, you're looking at Alex Smith potentially starting next season. Yeah. As of right now, still a lot that can happen, still a lot that can change. But
man, I'm so afraid of that guy. Every game, I'm just afraid of him falling apart.
Just... I've gotten a lot of flack for hating on him. Look, I think he's done well considering, and I just think. Like what?
His ceiling's not that much higher than what he's already achieved, probably.
Oh yeah.
If anything, he's gonna get worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's at his.
He's old
because he's playing to his potential right now to win games right now, but at some point in time, that's gonna run out.
Yeah, and like I said, I was not wrong, but I've been changed my mind in terms of like, I fully now understand more after seeing them win. You know what I'm saying? I understand the experience. So I was wrong about that. But my thing is, after this year, what does that do for you next year?
Sure.
Right? Because you're not going to transform into a contender. I don't know what else you could give Alex Smith next year that would elevate them, right?
Right.
At this point, it's the quarterback. It's got to be elevated. Yeah.
Here's what I love to see. I'd love to see Ron Rivera come out and say that I'm going back to Haskins as my number one quarterback going into training camp next year.
I
Listen,
think that's just very
the
unlikely.
only reason, yeah, it might be, but it kind of goes back to my previous point, right? If the Washington football team is not going to get the number one or number two pick in the draft or a top 5 pick, they have no shot at a legitimate quarterback coming out of the draft, some guy who's ready to play, right?
They do, but there'll be guys with some.
Exactly, but it more or less
Issues.
eliminates having a top tier prospect.
Of course,
on your roster, right?
This is the issue
Okay.
with winning some of these games.
So considering that, and considering the weight that holds to have to bring in an average prospect out of college and go back through development all over again with an already young team, you've got nobody on the free agent market, right? Like you said, nobody that we can just kind of bring in and groom a little bit more based off their experience. Stick with Haskins.
Nah, man, they're gonna go back to Kyle Allen before they go back to Haskins.
Yeah,
that's fucked up because I just feel like he was your previous. At some point, somebody thought he was a first round draft pick, and they picked him.
The only person that thought that though was Daniel Snyder, though.
That's not the only person.
Did you?
That's the only person in the organization that drafted him.
There are
Jamal,
people who are paid.
Look at this shit. Go ahead. I love this. You don't even expect it. It just pops off.
True or false? Dre Gruden wanted Dwayne Haskins. False. True or false? Ron and Rivera inherited Dwayne Haskins.
True or false? There's more to NFL scouting than the two people that you just named within the Redskins organization. There are other scouts who considered him a top tier prospect, a top flight prospect.
Did Doug Williams have his hand in the pack?
Doug Williams, a fucking puppet. I mean. Bleep that out.
Respectfully.
No, but Doug Williams, I don't know how much power he has and all that. But regardless, I understand what Abdul is saying. However, there's a lot of not bad blood, but a lot of built up animosity. Obviously, they've come to some understanding, but they need Dwayne to fix very small things that makes them view him as somebody who they cannot evaluate the rest of the offense with.
Isn't one of the biggest knocks on Dwayne something that's kind of intangible, and that's his general maturity and lack of preparation?
Yes.
How fixable? I mean, I know he's
so
young and shit.
hard.
Don't get me wrong.
It was a thing. I think it was a little bit
that
oversaturated.
Seems to be, that's all the knock I always hear is that.
I do, and I'm just like, I don't know what to think. Like, I believe some of it because nobody came out and defended him, but I've also seen glimpses of leadership. So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Neil, what do you think?
Like, I think, there definitely are some rumors and noise about that, which is unsettling a little bit because, you don't want to hear that Alex Smith, when he's the third string quarterback, is more prepared than Haskins when Haskins is the starting quarterback. That's something you don't want to hear.
Right.
And,
of course, but so
there's been those stories, just like the ones that you mentioned, just those little tiny stories where it kind of just portrays his character, his lack of maturity a little bit.
And nobody came out and defended him.
Right.
Not saying they would have. Maybe Rivera was, or maybe they're like, keep it in house, don't say anything. I don't know. But here's what pisses me off, right? I watched the San Francisco game. Did I think he was amazing? Did I think he was great? No. Did I think he was horrible? Did I think he was worse than Alex Smith played in that game? No. But here's the big problem. Let's say you go back to Haskins, right? And let's say in his first game he has a bad game, right? Then what? I mean, I went on Reddit, and I used to go on Reddit after any of these games. Everybody's just, Haskins, why? Like, they need to trade him. Oh my God, he's this and that. And I'm just like,
forget that noise. What is the team? How's the team? But here's the thing: you can talk about.
But the team is known to somehow let all of that in. It's so fucking dumb.
It's stupid.
Right? It's stupid.
Why would you let outside noise dictate how you run your team? That's a problem because.
But no one's saying that that's actually the case, though. Ron Rivera is going to do whatever the fuck Ron Rivera wants to do, and he's shown that throughout the season.
Of course, yes, I agree with that.
And we both just got fucking stumped here on some Ron Rivera shit. No, you're absolutely right. So my thing is that my point was, if you're going to go with Haskins, if you're going to go with Smith, just have a plan. Like what is your, like at this point, what are you doing with your quarterback situation? Are we just letting the season ride out and we're starting from scratch? Are you guys cool with the Redskins, with the Washington football team starting all over again and drafting a quarterback at any point? And
I just think
putting
there are
him into
so
training
many
camp?
unknowns and different scenarios that things could play out the rest of the next 6 months, 9 months before next even is even in the shouting distance that it's just too soon to say. Like they could
Yeah.
have Alex Smith starting next year, they could have Haskins starting next year, they could have Kyle Allen starting next year, they could have Cam Newton starting next year. Like
Oh.
who knows?
Would you give Jameis a
Wow.
shot?
Well, Jameis, they didn't
Jameis-
even start him over Taysom Hill, right? So it's like
Yeah, what's with that?
Jameis is just fun to watch. This
I'm kind of a
motherfucker
Jameis
just-
homer. I just want to throw it out there.
hey, 30 picks, 30
Yeah.
interceptions. Let's get it.
This motherfucker threw for 5,400 yards last year,
Dude.
and is
Yeah.
sitting on the fucking bench with a clipboard watching a
Taysom Hill.
makeshift fucking put together.
If Zain doesn't like Nick Mullins' face, I don't know what he thinks about Taysom Hill's face.
Taysom Hill's fun to
Taysom
watch
Hill-
though.
I mean,
He's fun
Taysom
to
Hill-
watch, but I
he's a
don't.
different guy. Yeah, I mean,
But just such a fugly face.
yeah. No, Nick Mullins just has that stupid
Yeah,
stupid face, man. Like,
yeah.
I fucking hate
So-
He
that.
kind of had a low Eli
So-
face. Yeah.
So the Washington football team now 6-7. They are now alone in first place, and 3 games left. So the Giants are now 5-8. Is that correct?
So they're
That's
one
correct.
game
Full game
behind, but they
behind.
beat the Redskins twice. So
What-
tiebreaker.
what's the rest of the schedules looking like for
So
Seahawks.
Washington has Seahawks, Carolina, Philadelphia. So to me, I think they can win 2 of those games.
give me
Carolina
a
and
final
Philadelphia.
record. Give me a final record for the Washington football team. Zain. and-
Because I'm going to be a pessimistic person, I'll say 7-9 and not 8-8.
I'm going to go shit.
Who do they beat?
I
They
think
gonna
they
beat
beat the
Carolina?
Panthers. They beat
Yeah.
the Panthers and the Eagles. I think their defense has crazy confidence. I don't
Yeah.
think they're a dominant elite unit, but
Who's
they,
the other
like
team
you
they play?
said, Huh?
Who's the other team they play?
Seattle next week.
Seattle.
hmm
That's
L.
oof.
They ain't pulling no Giants shit.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? This is a true test. This is to me the biggest test they've had, bigger than the Steelers.
You're right. This is a truer
Um,
test than the 11-0
Yeah,
Steelers.
because
Oh,
here's the thing, right?
absolutely.
Here's the thing, and this is a quick anecdote. It's hard. It's easier being the underdog, right? And it's harder being the favorite. When you're the favorite, you get everybody's best shot. When you're the Steelers, you get everybody's best shot. And when you're the Redskins, you in this position where chip on your shoulder, you gave everybody their best shots. So now when they're expected to win some of these games, even the Panthers and the Eagles, let's see how they come out, and they're gonna have to chase around Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf,
Ooh.
for 60 minutes or for however
Yeah.
long NFL game is. So
They
I'm
better
going
hope
2-1, though.
Antonio Gibson is back.
Yeah, they need to run a game. You can't play against Seattle. As bad as their defense has been, they're a defense that gets stops when they have to. So I'm
Yeah.
curious. So the Giants, though,
Giants have they're Cleveland, at home against Cleveland, at Baltimore, and at home against Dallas.
that's tough. So
So
if
honestly,
the
I
Redskins
think
go
they have a
2-1,
harder schedule. People
Browns
saying,
are
"Oh, the
riding high right
Giants."
now.
Right.
Browns could beat them. The Ravens should beat them, and they should probably beat the Cowboys. So that's 2-1. That means the
I
Redskins will
think
make
at
the
this
playoffs.
point,
It's 1
at
and
this
2,
point,
yeah.
if you got a quarterback that can come back and take your team on a game-winning drive, having mud
After the
butt,
runs.
at the same- yeah, like you got mud butt, and you drive your team down the field for a game-winning field goal.
Which, by the way, was a
Ravens-
gambling massacre for some people.
The
I've
Insane.
safety at the end.
Insane.
so 47-42 is the final score. That was the first time
Score,
ever in NFL history
score Miyagi or
that
whatever
there's
it's
been that
called.
score.
Yep.
47-42.
And
I
it
literally had
killed
the
all of the
Baltimore.
Browns
I had
bettors.
Baltimore -3, and I turned off my phone. I was watching my phone. I was like, whatever, man. And then I checked the score 47-42 with 2 seconds. I was like,
Wow, so Zain
What the
made
fuck
money
is
on
going on?
that.
So do y'all like the Browns? How do you feel about the Browns?
They're still
I
going to
think they're
lose in the
scary as
first
fuck.
round of the playoffs. So who cares?
Yeah, but I think they got this Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb shit they got going
Sure.
on
they're 1A,
is
1B running backs.
devastating. That shit is
this is the most they've shown in years. I think
Yeah.
Cleveland has been this team that's had immense talent and has always gotten their fucking ass kicked when going up against a
know.
team like the Ravens that can really dominate
Yeah.
the trenches or punch them in the mouth. And they lost, but that was a positive step for them.
Best
But
game of
nobody's
the
scared
year
of their
for sure.
passing game. So Yeah, definitely the best game of the year. Nobody's scared of their passing game right now, unfortunately, but they showed some things against the Ravens.
So they're what nine? They're who are we talking about?
Cleveland is
they're not in the
9 and
playoff
4.
picture.
They're,
right
they're
now,
nine.
right?
And, what's that?
Are they in the
9 and
playoff
4
picture
now.
right now?
They're
Yeah.
9 and 4.
Yeah.
They're still on
Broncos-
top of their division.
Oh, because
Brown
they're
No.
better than the
Still in the
Ravens.
wild card
The
spot.
Ravens are
Steelers are
8-5.
still atop.
Steelers are 11-2 now.
Mhm.
So
Correct.
they lost back-to-back games.
And the Chiefs
I already
have
said
a
they're the
wide
worst
open
11-0
shot.
team in fucking history.
Oh, here we go. We're
Chiefs
still
are
talking about that.
12-1, right?
11-2. As soon as I
12-1.
say some shit, I said the Bears were the worst 5-1 team. They lost 6 straight. I said the Steelers were the worst 11-0 team.
Oh.
They lost 2 straight. Fuck this shit. Fuck these.
Fucking
teams.
Yeah, but you ain't
Nostradamus
getting,
over here.
You should have made some money on that if you're going to
No,
talk.
I
all
know
that talk.
bullshit when I see it, bro.
Yeah.
I know. Fuck these teams, man. Y'all really thought the Bears were gonna sustain a 5-1 record?
Nobody
No.
who thought that. We didn't
Yeah.
say that.
I definitely didn't say that.
That might have been tits for tats who said that. Wasn't any of us.
Yeah. Oh shit. So aside from that, around the NFL, you got the Packers just sneakily staying elite. Like they just fucking win games. No one's even talking about them.
And now they're the
anymore.
number 1 seed,
That's how I
right?
feel.
Jesus.
Yeah, they've been around there all year.
Like,
And like
I
Rodgers
think
is having the best year of his career.
quite
one of them is.
literally, there's clearly 2 elite pairs of quarterback receiver combos right now in the NFL. It's Mahomes and Tyreek Hill / Travis Kelce, and then there's Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Like,
Shout out to the Dolphins defense for picking off Mahomes 3 times in the game on Sunday. The first time in Patrick Mahomes' career where he's
Did you
been
get
picked
moist
off.
after that 30-yard loss?
that 30-yard sack.
Here's the
Mahomes
thing,
thought he
though,
could get
man.
out of there, and that guy said, "No, no,
we
no."
want to talk about teams with heart and shit.
Heart.
Heart. we hope
Fucking
what do you want? We
McGinty.
got heart.
Next,
Miles
Abdullah's
and
gonna
miles
start
apart.
quoting Friday Night Lights.
Well, you got
Clear
heart.
eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Oh, I love Friday Night Lights. One of my favorite shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mahomes versus you had a point. Go ahead, Zain. You were saying something.
You know, I've had this argument. This is not the argument I want to have because I love Patrick Mahomes, but Aaron Rodgers is the fucking GOAT, man.
He's the fucking
the
goat.
fucking GOAT.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like Neil brought it up. You got these 2 elite receiver
Unquestionably.
combos, but look at the breadth and depth of talent the Chiefs have on offense.
Sure.
Right. And these teams have
It's-
almost identical
it's
records.
sad, Yeah.
The Chiefs have
and
infinite depth or talent on offense.
infinite weapons, dude. And
Yeah.
Mahomes has, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams, but and no disrespect to these other guys, there's like Equator or
Valdez,
Uranus.
Scantling,
Yeah.
and
Equator,
Alan
Uranus,
Lazard,
Johnson, and Valdez,
Robert
Spalding.
Tunyon.
Yeah, who
See,
are these dudes?
me and Zayn, we're into that fundamental shit. That fundamental everything, fundamental sex, just
Oh my god!
Where's
Oh,
your
I
lava
totally
lamp
get it.
now?
Aaron Rodgers, just one of those dudes. You just the sling.
No, but
you see-
my
you see-
point is like Mahomes. My friend's argument: Mahomes won the Super Bowl. Now he's the go. I'm like, you're telling me Aaron Rodgers with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all these guys with
Oh my god.
dog teams? Oh my
500
god!
yards every Sunday.
Yeah, it would be insane. But they're all great. They're all great. Him and Russell Wilson and Mahomes are, to me, just crazy.
Yeah.
So, are we all in agreement that if we had to guess right now, that it would be a Chiefs Packers Super Bowl?
Chiefs for sure.
Chiefs Packers,
everyone
I think,
agrees.
yeah, I don't think anybody's beating the Chiefs. The way the Chiefs can run off 30 straight points in a
Like it's
matter of
nobody's
nothing.
business.
minutes.
Like it's nothing.
That's what they
like
did
it's
to the Titans
nothing.
last postseason, right? The Titans
Yeah,
were up
exactly.
what,
And
28-0
to the
or
And the
Texans.
something
Texans.
like that?
And the
And the
Texans. They were down
Texans.
21.
Right.
24-0. It was 24-0, and I think
Yep.
I think Houston or Kansas City ended up
Being up at
outscoring them
halftime,
51-7. 51-7 was what they outscored them with. So,
Yeah, it's
Um,
insane.
any other thoughts on the NFL? Chiefs Packers? Is that what we're talking about?
Chiefs for sure. Packers. The NFC is way more confusing because
It
the
is.
Bucks dominated the Packers, and then the Saints
Yeah.
dominated the Bucks.
And Drew
the
Brees is
Packers
about
beat
to come
the-
back too.
And he's about to
Drew Brees
come
is about to
back.
come back.
That's
The
the
Saints
big game
held
to
it
watch
down.
for. Drew Brees
They
versus
held
the
it down while
Chiefs.
he was going.
Yeah.
Yep. I think the Saints are pretenders personally, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. So it'll be exciting to see. Go ahead. What's up? What's up?
Looking forward to that Saints Chiefs matchup and Marshawn Lattimore versus Tyreek Hill. That should be fun next
When is
week.
that?
Mm.
Next week.
This coming week?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Sunday.
Prime time?
No, because I think some garbage game is in prime time.
All right.
Flex it. Fuck it. We'll flex it.
All right. Well, as the NFL nears towards postseason, the Wizards in the NBA started preseason
NBA's back.
NBA's back.
Were y'all excited like me?
Wizards.
I was fucking geek, man.
It's always surreal to me how quickly basketball comes back. Like how quickly,
Yeah.
like even the offseason, it's not an offseason. You go through summer league, you go through the draft, you go through training camp, and then preseason. Like so it's always surreal to me when like you actually have organized games back.
Yeah.
Like damn, that shit came back. Like we was just watching the finals.
Bro, I was excited, man.
The Wizards played in August, and the finals were going on until when? Definitely September. Was it into October?
Yeah,
and
of
they're
course.
already back again.
The weird ass COVID schedule already, obviously played a factor. But the
right.
Wizards played the Nets. No Beal, no Westbrook. I hate those games for the Wizards. Even though I love watching players, young players, on the floor developing.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it just like there's a sequence of like Isaac Bonga and like Mo Wagner, like their pick and roll just blew up.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And then and then Wagner picked up the ball and dribbled off his foot.
Yeah.
And it just turned into you'll have those runs, you'll have those stretches when you see a lot of it on the floor. Like they started with, at one point they had Bonga, Wagner, the new guy Cassius, Matthews and Lopez on the floor, you know what I mean? And it's like KD and Durant.
All those other
KD
guys.
and Kyrie on the other side. Like what the
I think they played their entire roster. All these random guys. I'm throwing a blank on the names. It looked like when you simulate your 2K franchise like 2026, there's like a bunch of like random motherfuckers on the bench.
Shout out to Ralph Neto because I totally remembered
Ralph Neto.
So I'll say this PSA because he's Brazilian. It's not pronounced Raul like the Spanish one. It's actually
Raul.
Huao. No.
Raul.
It's not even Raul. And I'm gonna butcher it too. But it's like Huao Neto.
Okay, Huao Neto.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll remember that more than I'll remember Ralph.
We got the straight United Nations team, man. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
I already forgot how to say it. But
Raul Neto. That's what it is.
Sure.
Raul.
We'll call him Neto. So Neto, he was on the floor off the jump.
Yeah, he started.
Right?
He looked better than I. Did I ever remember him ever looking?
He was active. He was fast.
Yep.
He had a little floater.
Made some difficult shots.
I always like the floater. Yeah. When you see
got
the floater,
to the free throw line 10
shots,
times.
Nice. I think he got a layup over Jared Allen too. Real like just high angle joint. Yeah, I like the fact the team looked. For the team that was out there, they look solid. I like the 3-point shooting. I think the starter shot around 50% from three. So that was good to see. Rui look a little more aggressive. Showed off a little 3-point shot too, so he could stretch in his range out.
He dominated Durant on that putback dunk.
And this is why I think Washington can be kind of scary good, but at least they're going to be to the point where they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. No one's going to want to play them in the playoffs. Because they think Thomas Bryant's going to make a jump. They think Rui's going to make a jump. They like what they have in Denny Avdia. Dude was a perfect 6 for 6 from the floor. Like
100% from the floor.
Can't get any better than that. His catch and shoot 3-point shot was looking great.
Homer alert.
So you got to find the little things to be optimistic about in this these trying times.
It was fun watching Cassius too, even though Cassius is not going to see the floor because we have 4 point guards on the roster.
Shout out Cassius Winston blowing up Hoop_District's Twitter account.
Dope. Cassius was really good at creating his own shot too, which I was really
aggressive. He looked aggressive towards the ball a lot. Getting his own shot, but just his direction just always toward the ball. Aggressive, trying to make a play. I liked his game. But the Wizards totally fucking forgot my point. Pick it up, Neil.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. Obviously, they have their upcoming preseason games, 2 of them against the Pistons at home on Thursday and Saturday.
Alexa, tell us about the Wizards.
And then it's Neil's voice right there and comes in.
Yo, my fucking Alexa just started talking too. Shut the fuck up. Alexa, shut up.
But it'll be good to see. We're not going to see Bertans on Thursday, but maybe by Saturday we'll see the full lineup of Westbrook, Beal. Their elite lineup, even though Bertans probably doesn't start the season, their elite scoring lineup is Beal, Westbrook, Bertans, Hachimura, and Bryant.
I totally want to get a Neil echo now. This level of information.
Yeah.
No, here's the question. The Wizards, they refused getting a center in free agency or via a trade all summer
Damn.
long.
Abdul
Or the
was like,
centers
"Fuck Robin
refuse
Lopez."
to play with them.
Now they're going with Thomas Bryant. I see
They were
they've been
all in on Thomas Bryant since
Yeah.
the end of last season.
So
essentially.
he attempted a few threes. He had a nice trailing three that he knocked down.
Mhm.
That part of his game is what I think the Wizards really want to put together
Yep.
to kind of, make ground for their decision to not pursue someone else in his place. So I think if they can keep that going consistently, spread
That
the floor.
rotation is going to be interesting.
Yeah, the whole rotation is going to be fun. Yeah.
With Bryant, Wagner, and then Robin, like how Scott Brooks plays around with that.
Unless
you could argue that
Mo makes
Bryant
a jump.
What's that?
Unless Mo makes a jump, I'm not sure how much playing.
You
time
see him
he's
as the
really
odd
gonna
man out
see.
in that lineup, the
Right,
big lineup.
because today for the Wizards, they love Robin Lopez's boxing out, which will help the rebounding numbers, and they like his defense, and that's where the Wizards were absolutely atrocious last year.
That was my thinking too. Is we have in Bryant and Wagner essentially the same type of stretch five type of player.
Right.
So I was trying. Yeah. So we would have to figure out. Yeah, because rim protection is going to be a thing. There's going to be a time, obviously, when our backcourt gets blown by some quicker guards or some other wings. So even if he's in there to just fucking absorb contact and put somebody down, I'm good with that.
I don't want to see a lot of Wagner, to be honest.
Well, it's a good thing Joe's not on this podcast, otherwise he would rip you a new one for that one. His
What?
guy.
He'll rip me a new.
He's a big Wagner fan.
I like Wagner. I just feel like he's a little erratic with the ball sometimes.
Sure.
I feel like his game's kind of.
Yeah, but he'll be valuable to somebody. I mean, he could be trade bait. Honestly, I don't know how we need.
And to his credit, he had gotten hurt at one point in time in the season where he just felt like his entire body just like wasn't working for him at that point.
Oh, shit.
So we'll see.
Like me when I hit puberty.
So the Wizards have a game again tomorrow against the Pistons.
Correct.
Or Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that a back-to-back with the Pistons? They got one on Friday too.
Yeah.
No, so it's on Saturday. They're both at Capital One Arena.
Yeah.
They're trying to limit the amount of travel these teams have to do. So
okay.
Wizards get the nice.
Are we going to see Westbrook? Are we
games.
going to see Westbrook at all?
Westbrook and Beal should be playing on Thursday. No Bertans, but hopefully by Saturday we see everybody at least for a little bit of time. The Wizards are super high on load management, medical analytics, all that kind of stuff. So
what time was Thomas Bryant born?
Time 6:57 Central Time. We'll
so on the other side of the ball, it was KD and Kyrie.
I didn't watch that. How'd that go?
They look good.
They look good. Yeah. Kyrie had
like cute their uniforms, or they play well together.
They showed flashes of where you're just not going to be able to guard them at some point.
You won't. KD was cooking early, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
Kevin
Durant
Durant
tried real hard to defend like a kind of jumper right outside the elbow. He tried his damnness, and KD just knocked the shit down. Like you forget how it's like watching, kind of prime Dirk, how difficult it is to just fucking defend somebody that
he's a
tall
7-footer with an elite jump shot.
Crazy. Speaking of which, unrelated, did y'all see that Jason Tatum grew 2 more inches?
Yeah, he's
What the
6'10" all of a sudden
He's
now.
6'10" now. Like
That is
6'10"?
unreal. He's
Looking
6'10".
real happy. Jesus.
The motherfucker is only 20
insane.
years old, right? 21. He's still got
20,
like
I think
one
it's
more.
21.
insane.
21, 22.
That's what I'm hoping the Wizards will get out of Denny, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum. That's the bar.
You really say that?
No. That he'll grow more.
Just the growth, not
He goes-
That's like
gonna
me
say-
watching a porno
Yeah.
and be like, I hope my girlfriend figures out how to do that.
Denny Avdia gonna be training with Kobe
Zane's
Bryant's
like,
hologram
hey,
and shit.
can you go study some Nicole Ant? It's like,
I saw this post on the Redskins Reddit, or the Washington football team Reddit, and I thought it was Neil. It was like the Redskins haven't lost since, the Washington football team hasn't lost since the Wizards drafted Denny. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, that's a Neil tweet like
more
shit.
sturdy.
Neil, tweet that shit right now, bro.
Hey, if we'll get Hoop District some more followers, I'm all for it.
Oh my god.
Alrighty.
No, but Kyrie looked good. KD looked real good to see him come back from that injury. Kyrie had like 12 in the first quarter. He was
Kyrie was 7 of 9 from the field. He was cooking.
Yeah. John Wall got his first game with James Harden tonight or last night. Was that tonight or last night?
Tuesday night.
James' first time back tonight. Yeah.
Hey,
It looked
always
like,
wishing John
we
the
saw
best
a lot
luck.
of
He
we saw a
looks
lot of
good.
off the ball John tonight. a lot of off the ball John tonight. I mean,
Well,
there
how
was
they
a there was
how
a
they play
play where-
together if James Harden ate him?
Harden looks
Ooh.
plump, man.
That
Harden's
man
Black-
put
he's
on a
extra
few.
thick.
Santa, like Black
Looking like
Santa
a
Claus.
snack.
Yeah,
Like
man.
3 C's in that thick.
Tits for tats.
Some fucking strip club wings and fries, man.
Yeah, fucking
This shit adds up.
fucking tater tassels and fucking.
We'll
All
see,
right.
though.
Yeah, we'll see though. So that pretty much wraps up, I think, the hot topics over in basketball. So the season starts
December 22nd.
December
next
22nd.
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. Okay. So in between basketball and a little bit of football, you got a little bit of, some Christmas movies that we suggested that you guys might be watching. If all else fails, Zane's got some TV shows lined up.
But Jamal has some. Damn it, you fucked it up.
And with
Start
that,
all over. We got to run it all back.
let's go into theater.
Let's go into theater with a 5-second pause.
Jamal,
Yes, sir.
industry finale.
Industry finale. Industry is I was watching it week by week, and then I think HBO got the message that it's caught on kind of like wildfire. So they put all the episodes up on HBO Max and HBO On Demand. So I went ahead and finished it out. So I had at the time I think 4 episodes left, and I binged it over the last couple of days. It's going to be my favorite show of the season. I think it's just once you get past a lot of hate that people have for Lena Dunham, and you kind of look past that, and you have to look at this honestly and objectively and say that she put together what is coming out almost unanimously as a really well received show. So I've talked about it before. It's the show that follows the young college graduates trying to make it at this London bank, and it's a very cutthroat atmosphere. It's very tough for them. The show kind of centers around this character Harper, a young Black girl from the States. She's very adventurous, but she has some issues. She's kind of
Who's that? Who's she played by?
I cannot pronounce her name.
Okay.
cannot-
So who's Lena Dunham playing? I'm just curious, real quick.
She's not in it actually.
Oh, she's not
just
in it.
producing. Yeah, she's behind the scenes.
Producing. Okay, cool. My bad.
Producing.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this Harper who has a chip on her shoulder, and she's really kind of taken. She's kind of really admired by basically the guy who plays her boss and kind of like partner almost, who has his own kind of stuff with him. So the characters kind of center around everything that you really tend to see at a company. You have the really good looking kid, this guy named Robert, who really doesn't have any true discernible skills, but he tries to, his appeal is being charismatic and affable, and trying very hard to kind of catch on with clients. There's a girl named Yasmin who's very, very pretty, and she has her troubles with a guy that sits at her desk that really kind of berates her and demeans her to the point where she has to kind of grow a spine and try to work within the construct of her roles also. Then there's a guy named Gus, a guy who's struggling with his sexuality. He's not quite out, but he's kind of messing around with a guy in the office who's got a girlfriend, and he's very closeted, but this whole thing. So and the backdrop of the show is they deal with a guy who works himself literally to death in the beginning of the show, and bring this really big kind of cloud over the firm in general. So it was cool kind of watching him grow throughout the series. There's a lot of things with gender roles in the workplace here too.
Right.
Very patriarchal, woman stay in your place type of thing.
Yeah.
And
it's a very young and diverse cast, it looks like too.
Absolutely.
So it's obviously in the forefront.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of this thing too, where the people that bring in, and we've seen this in everybody's company, the people that bring in the money for the company, despite their, malfeasance and misdoings, the company finds a way to kind of protect them and look out for them. So there's a little bit of that too. So I'm not going to give a ton of it away. I will say again, the show has gotten grown a lot in popularity. I think it was close to hovering around between 70 and 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, listen to 70, high 70s.
Yeah, and then the other day it was announced that they picked them up for a season 2. So there's a lot of places they can go with it. Everybody, without giving any names away, everybody didn't make it through the RIF process, the reduction in force, where these people get to find out if they keep a job permanently at the bank or not. Yeah, just I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really really dope show. And I enjoyed it. I mean, I might actually watch it through another time because it was really.
Where does this take place again?
It takes place in London.
Okay, so
it's
everybody
London,
British accent, all that stuff. I love British accents, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Top of the morning to you.
What the fuck was that?
This fucking Mrs. Doubtfire.
Great movie.
Oh, should have seen it. It was a run by fruiting.
One thing to just be, if you haven't cracked it open yet, if you get to the show, there's some very lewd scenes in there. If
now
anybody has some kind of if people have some criticism of it, it's that some of the scenes went a bit too far. I didn't have an issue with that because these are young people that are making a lot of money. It's a very insular community. I've been at a job where I came in with another group of 12, 13 young people fresh out of college. Now, we weren't making as much money as them, but you get your first taste of freedom, your first paycheck, your first apartment. When you're socializing with people that are right around your age, there's going to be a lot of shit that just kind of crosses the line.
Of course.
And there's a fair amount of that in the show also, but it does get really fucking edgy at times. So
good looking people with money are having a good time.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So if you're a pearl clutcher and some shit like really bothers you, just be warned. There's a lot of that, and it kind of picks up in intensity over the course of the season. But again, it really, to me, it contributed to the authenticity.
Neil, earmuffs. Okay.
Yeah, so
definitely check out Industry season 1. Like Jamal said, it's gonna pick up for season 2. So if HBO picks you up for a second season,
that's how you know there's a lot of motherfuckers don't make it there. HBO can be like Bad Boy Records. You might not see it second time.
Exactly. And they own all your publishing.
Exactly.
You're still getting taxed on that ass. And you also just are you watching another show right now?
Yeah, Your Honor. So I talked about that last week. Second episode came out Sunday. I don't see any indication of that. Right? Yeah, Cranston plays a judge whose son involved in a fatal hit and run. He's using my man Clay Davis from The Wire as kind of a quasi-dirty political type of guy to kind of help him out with a favor to clean up the whole thing, and it very quickly goes off the rails, which adds this whole new storyline into the show that started in episode 2.
And it looks like they have another one of my favorite actors, Michael Stuhlbarg's in here. He plays Tommy.
Yes. Yeah.
One of my favorite. Is that
the one on Showtime?
Yeah, it's on Showtime. Sundays at 9, I believe. 9 or 10. 9 or 10. But yeah, it's good so far. Still not understanding why it's not getting good ratings, but I'm just gonna let it cook and see if anything kind of changes over the course, because it's still only episode 2. I don't know if anybody got a screener or whatever to see ahead, but
I was curious about that.
Yeah, I dig it so far.
They watched the whole thing. The ratings have not picked up. I'm wondering
been buzzed at all since last week, right? Because it was still
39. I'm at 39.
Oh gosh, so it's actually falling a little bit.
Yeah,
interesting. I say the one criticism I heard, and this is all personal preference, but if you, and I'm gonna just be real blunt here, if you don't like the white man somehow escaping felonious, being in jail for his whole life and running a crime type of thing. We talked about Breaking Bad earlier.
Yeah.
I heard
accountability, right?
Yeah, kind of Dexter comparison. Like, how does he keep escaping this shit and running this fucking criminal enterprise and still, there's definitely some of that in here because it's the backdrop of the show is a fatal fucking hit and run accident.
And he gets out of it.
So far, yeah. So
understood.
I don't have an issue with it personally, but that could be a knock on it. So it could be some of that too. But yeah, so check out Your Honor too. It's pretty dope.
Okay, cool. I mean, for me, what I'm reading is maybe some people feel like there's other shows about good men doing bad things to warrant. Well, good men doing bad things, right? I don't know if people are tired of that angle. I personally love it. I like to see that kind of drama happen.
Right.
And as long as it's realistic to an extent, I'm all with it. I'm definitely gonna check it out just for the cast. I love Michael Stuhlbarg. Like I said, he's one of my favorite character actors.
Yep.
And Bryan Cranston, obviously, without any introduction. I've also been catching up this last couple of weeks. Every damn week, Jamal got a new show, and I'm like, I need to either start one of the shows or I need to start getting back in the zone. Like I said earlier, I just go through like phases where after work, I'm like, okay, let me start a show. I put it on and then I'm on my phone in 15 minutes. And I'm like fuck
What
this.
just
Let me get back in
happened?
my comfort zone. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. So I think what happened is Parasite was a movie that I wanted to watch when I saw the trailer
still
as
need to
soon as
watch
it
it.
came out. And eventually I just got in the zone. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Parasite tonight. Amazing movie.
Loved it, man.
It was exactly. It's one of those movies, and Roger Ebert said this once. I think he said it about. I think it was like the Truman Show. He was like, you leave the theater and say, "This is why we go to the movies, right?
Mhm.
This is the feeling that we want." Parasite. That's exactly how I felt about it. It was such a breath of fresh air, and it has subtitles. It's a Korean movie, but it is so easy to watch because the characters still seem very Americanized, the way they talk, the way they act.
Mm-hmm.
I know this movie was a long time ago, but if you haven't seen Parasite, definitely check it out. And then I started on the rabbit hole of, okay, the director of Parasite, what else has he done? He's a very well-respected actor. So then I watched Memories of Murder, which is another serial killer movie about a killer that's loose. And it's also subtitles. Amazing movie. One of the best serial killer investigative movies.
Where is that
seen.
available? Where'd you see it?
I think I had to buy it on Prime for like $3.
Okay.
I was so good, really good. And a lot of his movies that he actually he rolls with the same lead actor from Parasite, the father.
Ah, okay.
So he puts him in all his movies. So he's in this movie. He plays the lead detective about basically there is a killer loose who is pretty much raping and murdering women in the town, and he has a pattern. He does this every time it rains, and whatever the whole pattern is. So they're trying to go through this investigation, and obviously in a movie like this, it's never really about, it's about who's a killer, but there's so much going on in between, right? There's like a journey in between, and it's more so about the investigative tactics that they're using back then, because when you go back to, and it's a very interesting article I actually read today, is why are there no more serial killers, right? And a lot of that is DNA testing, and so that's part of it, right? Forensics. It's so much easier to catch these people. And this movie takes place in a time where there is no DNA testing, right?
Okay,
so you're actually watching detectives.
When it was set.
Exactly. You're actually having to watch detectives. And the last great part about it, it's based on a true story.
Oh.
And it's actually 99% close to exactly how the investigation happened.
And this movie was made in the 80s, right? You said
No, this is in the last 10,
earlier
10
than
years. No, this is the last 10 years. But it takes place back when this killer was loose. And I won't say what happened after that, but back when the killer was committing these crimes, that's when the movie takes place. There's no DNA forensics back then.
Nice.
So you're actually having to watch dudes
those serial
trying to figure
killers
this
used
shit
to go
out.
through a tear for
Exactly.
months.
So they kill 30 people and you can
months.
never,
You read some of these serial killer stories, it's like they murdered people from like August
1963 till
like
December 1989.
Don't get me started. I have like my favorite serial killers. Not to sound like
no, I do too. And we were talking about this today because the Golden State Killer. I was talking about that with a friend today. I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And he was obviously relatively recently, which is crazy because Patton Oswalt's wife was a true crime writer, and she's writing about him, and then literally it sparks the investigation back up, and he gets caught after she passes away at 46.
There's a black serial killer, Samuel, I want to say old black man, killed all sex workers.
Jesus.
Killed dozens and dozens of people. I think his death count is, I think it said over like 93 or something like that. Jeez. But he is some kind of like savant because he can describe women, he can draw pictures of them, he can draw pictures of the scene, and they're using his memory of the crimes to go back and actually find remains and piece together stuff and confirm the deaths. Yeah, it's really fucking eerie.
That's the kind of shit you see in movies, and you're like, oh, this would never happen. You know what I mean? Where the guy's negotiating, oh, I'll give you this one, that one 30 years ago.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna make movies about that guy because it's he did a whole 60 minutes.
I love absorbing this shit. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's sick, but I love
y'all
it.
Creeping me out right now, man.
Yeah,
it just watching that stuff. It just gives you a rush, honestly.
Yeah.
Not what they're doing, but them being caught.
My windows and shit, like.
So Memories of Murder is a great one. And also we should probably do like one of these best serial killer movies soon too, because I was thinking about this yesterday because I was making a list for someone, and I was trying to think of some of the best movies, and there's not that many, to be honest with you.
Neil, you're gonna hate your homework.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to sleep with the nightlight on tonight. Jeez, scary movies.
Man. So that led me into I need to find a show, but I was like, I can't commit to a series. Let me do a mini series. So I started researching best mini series of the last whatever. So I caught on to Sharp Objects, which is a show based on a novel by Gillian Flynn, who also wrote Gone Girl.
Okay.
and starring Amy Adams. She's the star of the show.
Love Amy
so everybody
Adams.
knows her.
She's great. She's great.
Yeah, so this was her best performance I've ever seen in any movie, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's a very slow movie. If anybody hasn't, slow miniseries. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's about she's basically has a lot of childhood trauma, and she's going back to her hometown to investigate murders that are happening of young girls. Girls that are being like pretty much defiled and put on display and murdered. So she's basically a struggling alcoholic. She has so much childhood trauma. She's all fucked up, right? And she's going back and she's trying to pretty much solve this, write about this case while dealing with her family, which is the source of all of her depression or anxiety or whatever it might be. So that I love the show. This is one of the best shows that I've seen, especially for a miniseries. A little bit of a slow burn, but the ending is probably one of the best endings I've seen in a long time.
How many episodes is that, by the way?
I think it's 8.
Okay.
I think it's 8.
What'd you watch it on?
This is on HBO.
It's HBO. Yeah, I remember that one.
Too much shit
HBO.
on HBO. I just need things on Netflix, so it's nice and simple.
HBO.
Yeah, so I think it's HBO, and it is HBO, and I think it's 8 episodes. It's fairly short, but like I said, it's such a great payoff. So if you have the patience for it, it's still enjoyable, but it take a few episodes to get into it. And then that led me down another I watched Flight Attendant, which is a show on HBO also. That's episode 8, which is the finale, is airing this Thursday. It stars Kaylee Cuoco from
Big Bang Theory.
I was waiting for you. I knew you had it. So she's basically a flight attendant, like a sexy, sassy flight attendant. She's hooking up with dudes.
Damn, definitely
whatever.
gonna have to watch this.
She hooks up with some dude in the first episode who's like really exciting, and she's obviously showing she drinks a lot and hooks up with these guys a lot. She's a flight attendant, so you're seeing the life of a flight attendant going from place to place. She sleeps with him, and she basically wakes up halfway through the episode, and he's dead in the bed next to her.
Oh my!
Oh
everything.
Shit!
So now she has to kind of retrace back her steps of what happened while being pretty much piss drunk, and it's basically a show that operates on memory, where she's going through trying to figure out what happened, but going back in her memory. And remembering scenes as they happen. The only caveat is this is a dark comedy, right? Okay. So it's a thriller suspense, but it's more so a dark comedy. Cool. But it's a very good show. It's 8 episodes, miniseries, entertaining, funny. She does a great job. Definitely recommend that. And my last show I'm watching right now.
At first, it sounded at first like it was going to be the opposite of that George Clooney movie, Up in the Air. He's just traveling around.
They're having a great time.
Because when you said it was following her life like as a flight attendant, I was like, okay, just doing this like
yeah. No, but you kind of see
city
like how it is,
all of a sudden,
right?
Motherfuckers is getting their heads chopped off and shit.
Exactly.
Fuck.
That's pretty much.
He was just firing people from their jobs.
Exactly. That's where it kind of turns, and it happens pretty early. So you already know that's the crux of the show before kind of happens. Lastly, I'm watching a show called Escape at Dannemora right now. That is a miniseries starring Benicio del Toro and Paul Dano. It's based on a true story of these 2 guys who escaped from prison. And this miniseries basically chronicles everything that leads up to them, I believe, breaking out of prison to they're messing around with the security guard, and they basically use her to get stuff to break out of prison. It's really good so far. It's a miniseries. It's also on, I think it's on Showtime, maybe.
Okay.
But 2 great performances. Paul Dano, if you ever seen him in
Paul Dano's another very slept on actor. Very
super slept on. Yo, when you watch this show, you will not believe it's Paul Dano. I'm like, where the fuck is Paul Dano? Where is he?
Yeah.
He kills it. Can't even tell it's him. And then Benicio del Toro is just chilling, just stone cold gangster in the show. Very similar to his character in Sicario.
Nice.
Just that whole vibe and feel of it.
Okay.
So watching that show, so I'll let you know how that turns out.
Sweet.
And that's it.
Nice.
Got a list of stuff now.
Neil, anything to watch on Nick Jr. Cartoon Network?
Watching the Backyardigans.
Blues Clues. You gotta get the Blues. What's going on in Blues Clues?
Christmas special.
I fucking love Backyardigans.
I actually just started.
Happy belated birthday, Neil. We were supposed to roast you.
I think we did a gradual roast. It's like a slow burn.
Yeah, a little slow burn. What'd you say, Jamal?
Medium
flame. Medium flame. You said on medium flame.
Little 325 preheat.
Oh yeah.
Broil time.
Yeah.
You ever put your toast in the toaster oven and it's on broil instead of toast?
Oh, that's horrible. Anytime I put on broil planning on doing it for 2 minutes, somehow some shit happens, and like 9 minutes later, the shit's fucked up.
Oh my.
but cool, man. Thank you, Zain, for catching us up on all the TV. Jamal, you as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and just jump right into Detention. You got me all fucking nerved up and creeped out with all this scary movie shit. Now y'all about to piss me off because we're talking about what, scammers?
Yeah, man. I got a quick story. So somebody
A
I
puppy?
know, yeah, into some shit like don't
Scary
fuck
story
with
about a
anybody.
puppy. Jesus Christ.
So friend was looking for a Yorkie puppy. Am I the only dog owner on the show?
No, but I've got a sister who owns 2 dogs, and I'm around them all the time. So
Okay,
and I've been
okay.
through a lot with buying.
Yeah,
puppies,
I've been a
so.
dog owner for like 16 years now, so I've
Yeah.
gotten
Wow.
familiar with about how much certain types of breeds cost for puppies.
Right.
And people sell you on like this is AKC certified and it's pure and parents were like show winners and all that shit. So bottom line, if you want to get a Yorkie, you're not.
He got
you're
rings.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's certified pre-owned and shit. 100-point inspection.
If I got new tires when you pick them up.
Yeah. 100 shit warranty.
Free dog wash, like first 6 months.
You're not getting a Yorkie puppy for
cheap.
I mean, you're coming out several $1,000s. That's
Wow.
just the bottom line. I mean, that they're popular. They just so if somebody's telling you, I got a Yorkie puppy for you for $650, you should be like,
sus.
come on, man. I wouldn't trip, right?
Yeah.
Just,
It's
So
like
bottom
Martin
line-
Lemons for like $40.
Yeah, somebody found a Yorkie puppy for $650 and tried to pay the seller through Cash App. No pictures, so that's like strike 2, right?
Ooh.
they got dog selling bots.
No picture.
Well, so trying to transfer
be-
the money through Cash App and the transaction's not going through. So the guy's wife says, well, let me try it. And it goes through for her. He like, that's weird as shit. So comes time to like, the puppy's going to be shipped to his
What?
house. That's another strike, right? But the guy's like, well, to ship the puppy, we're going to charge you $950 for a special
Fucking motherfuckers flying first class and shit on Virgin. What the hell's going on?
special crate to ship the dog in. By the way, that amount wasn't disclosed up front with the actual cost of the puppy.
Of course.
So the guy's like, well, fuck that. I'll come pick it up. So he drives down to like the Virginia Beach area, gets an address, pulls into the street, abandoned house. So long story short, this is a scam. And thank God, I mean, the guy banks with Navy Federal, so he was able to get his money back through, just kind of proving it was all fraud.
Disputing the case, yeah.
The kind of point of this too is 2 takeaways. If you find something that's too good to be true, it most likely is, especially around the holidays.
Mhm.
If I'm telling you I got a PS5 to sell you for $300, like that shit ain't real, right? Second of all,
You know,
please
yeah,
check with your
PS2 with
peoples.
broken parts.
Yeah, check with your friends and check with your I say your older relatives too, because there are people that make up these stories on the news about getting scammed out of fucking half their savings or whatever the fuck their social security check was. Like, people just aren't hip to shit, and honestly, I mean, we are kind of savvy at it because we're on the internet all day, but for some people who just can't pick up on the way scammers get creative nowadays, we gotta look out for our peoples, man. Otherwise you will be ass out and it would be fucking sad.
I am appalled. I mean, the story. I am appalled. The story you just shared is like the exact same story I have, but with a fucking iPhone. Like, I got scammed out of an iPhone for like these Nigerian scammers that have like those lengthy ass fake PayPal email addresses.
Yeah,
it's like paypal.cc.us.brazzers.eu. And their first name will be Leonard, like Leonard Jackson or some shit will be their name.
Yeah.
And they're doing the shit with fucking Yorkies now. Some dude's like some bot is just hoarding up Yorkies in the garage and shit.
Yeah, well, it's not even a bot. I mean,
They're not real.
Wherever they were running the scam from, they had, actual people behind it. So he called the guy and shit, and so he actually talked to somebody. But yeah, I mean, look, these people are vulnerable, man. You want the hot shit. I'm almost 100% certain people getting hustled on PS5s now because you cannot find them shits anywhere. So yeah, if you just read the fine print, people doing that dumb shit on eBay where you are like thinking you're buying an actual PS5, it's a fucking box, or like
Right.
pictures of it. You know, I'm just like, because you didn't read, you were so quick on the trigger to get something.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
puppies are, you know, I guess that's like the fucking next hustle now. So
What
yeah, just
what an
fucking
asshole move. He actually had him drive up to Virginia Beach.
yeah, man.
That's fucked up.
What a
I was gonna
dick.
mention that too.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
You ever been scammed, Neil?
Fuck no, it ain't gonna happen either.
Oh, yeah.
Zane, you remember
Just
that?
you
Remember,
wait.
remember one of the first times we used to hang out when I lost my debit card at TZ, the hookah joint?
Yes, I remember you lost your debit card. Yeah,
I got
someone
I
rang
go
up all
home,
your
I-
shit
yeah,
on there.
Yeah. Somebody rang up all my shit. I go home that night, and I realized that my check card isn't with me anymore. So I checked my online account. This motherfucker had already, in a span of 25 minutes from getting my card, had stocked up on fucking Taco Bell. $35, I think it was a charge at Taco Bell,
Perishable taco.
Yeah.
Nah.
and filled up his fucking tank because there was a charge for
Smart.
like 6001 at
Motherfucker
Exxon.
he had a hell of a night, man.
Put
He
gas
filled
on
up his
layaway
own
and shit.
tank.
Yeah,
He filled up his own tank, asked the person next to him, hey, you want to fill up?
Yeah.
Happened to one of my
Yeah.
boys. Someone stole his card. He didn't know for like 6 months. Dude was eating lunch every day on his card. I was like, how the fuck do you not know this
6
shit, dude?
months?
Yeah.
Talk about his lunch card from high school.
Yeah.
What's your account number?
Yo.
What's your PIN number?
Yo, you ever find that one random lunch card on the ground or somewhere during high school, and it ends up being like stacked with like $25, $30?
I don't remember if we had lunch cards. I don't
We had
remember.
lunch
I
cards.
never got
Yeah,
one.
I
didn't
never
have a
had
lunch
lunch
card.
cards.
You guys never had lunch cards where you just put money on the
Maybe there was an
card?
option, but not everybody
Jamal, you
did it.
didn't?
Most people just paid cash.
You were
I went
just
to
punching
PG
your
I went to school in
code.
PG County, bro. It was all cash, straight cash on me. We had no
Really?
fucking cards.
That's hilarious.
We had the fucking cards, man.
We had
That
lunch
when I was
cards.
in
That's why.
school.
That's why nobody was able to relate to that. We had lunch
Yeah.
cards.
It's too much
I don't know if it's-
responsibility as a kid, man. Holding a car with that much value on it.
Yeah.
She.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end it with that. Check your receipts. Check your
Check your
emails.
receipt. Have your
Check
pet
your
spayed or
receipt.
neutered.
Talk to your
Yeah.
peoples, man. Don't get hustled.
Yeah, man. .com addresses only, man.
Yeah.
So-
.com addresses. Oh,
Puppies.us.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. That was episode 14. Hopefully we'll have Joe back next week. Hold this fort down. This is hard, man. But
it's
yo,
like the episode where like the parents are out of town. You got to take care of everything.
yeah. Next week,
That's how hard that
Next-
shit is.
next week, are we doing songs?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
We're doing songs,
sir.
Christmas songs.
And in our DMs.
Look out for the poll. Until then, this is Abdullah. I got Zain, Neil, Jamal. It's a wrap. Week 14 is done. See you next week.